Okay. Okay, so we'll start chapter 9. So let me just open the chapter 9, share my screen quickly. Chapter 9 is called the most confidential knowledge. It's the king of the knowledge, Raj Vidya. It's referred to as Raj Vidya. There is another small book which Srila Prabhupada wrote. It's called Raj Vidya. So that book is actually nothing but the you can say this chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita itself, the most confidential knowledge. Okay, and obviously when something is very confidential, so there is a not this is not given to everyone, right? This is a secretive knowledge, and then Lord Krishna sets the criteria as who would be the recipient for this knowledge. What is the criteria? Okay, so he says in the first two verses itself the criteria. Supreme Personality Godhead, my dear Arjun, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is done joyfully. It is joyfully performed. And then he further says that those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. Okay. So two things which Krishna says, the criteria for to receiving this most confidential knowledge is that one should be non-envious from Lord Krishna. You should not have any jealousy or non-envious, like envy towards Lord Krishna. And second is faith. He should be faithful. He should not think, like many people have this thing that this is all mythology. This is mythology. What it means, mythology? Mythology means that something which is myth, which is not real. This is not myth. So we should have 100%, 108% faith on Lord Krishna's statement, and whatever is being spoken is 108% accurate and true, and it's valid in all ages. Sometimes people think that this knowledge was spoken 5,000 years back, so what's the relevance today? But this knowledge is not something which is time dependent. It's independent of Kal. So this will be applicable in any time, place, circumstance to everyone, irrespective whether he is following any so-called man-made religions, like he could be Christian or Muslim. This knowledge is not talking at the bodily level knowledge. It's at the spiritual level. So it applies to everyone. And that's why we see today Bhagavad Gita, or this knowledge, is being appreciated or being taken by people from all walks of life, like Russians, white, black, all over world today. Today Bhagavad Gita, this version of Bhagavad Gita, which we are all reading from Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita as it is the most widely read, widely distributed, and widely accepted Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because everyone can relate to the knowledge of this. Those who have faith and those who are non-envious. These are the two criteria being set by Lord Krishna to be the criteria for receiving this knowledge. The criteria for receiving knowledge is not having high IQ, high intellect, high material education. Those are not the criteria. Even a illiterate person who does not know how to read and write can be the recipient of this knowledge as long as he has faith and he is non-envious. Okay, so material education is not a criteria for, or material intellect is not a criteria for accepting this knowledge. And in fact, sometimes it works other way. Like sometimes when people are too much intelligent, too much too much wealthy, then they think very high of themselves and they are very proud. And in that state of my consciousness, again, they won't appreciate this knowledge because they feel they have everything in their life, nothing, they don't lack anything, and they'll feel them so superior that they don't appreciate this knowledge, and then they don't have time also because they are too much engrossed in the material affairs of the life that no time for this. So two criteria: faith is very important, and actually it is the faith first to enter the stage of bhakti, or to enter this devotional service. Faith is very, very important, because if someone doesn't have faith, then he will not be able to even take one step forward in this path. So that's why Lord Krishna says faith and non-envious. There's no envy, because there are certain people, I would say, who also criticizes ISKCON, because ISKCON is propagating this knowledge. You go on YouTube today, a lot of people are trying to basically dishonor or make criticizing, because they say that ISKCON, we are only basically propagating Krishna only, and no other Devi Devtas, right? We don't talk about Ganesh, or we don't talk about Durga. So we only speak about Krishna and try to make everyone devotees of Krishna. So that is the thing. But here Lord Krishna will discuss that in chapter 9 itself, that this is the real knowledge itself. Like if one becomes a devotee of Lord Krishna, then all other Devi Devtas, which we discuss, all other demigods are actually part and parcel of Lord Krishna. And this Krishna Bhakti is the topmost Bhakti. They all become satisfied. And there is a very nice analogy which is given, that there is a tree. Now you cannot water each and every branch of tree and water each and every leaf of tree. But if you water the root of the tree, the whole tree gets nourishment. All the branches, all the leaves will get their nourishment. Same is the case. If we focus on Lord Krishna and become Krishna's devotee, everything else is taken care. Like we do not have to separately worship each and every Devi Devta. We are very respectful for all, but we know what is the root. Lord Krishna is the root. So we just focus our attention or energy in cultivating the devotion service towards Lord Krishna. And there is nothing wrong with that. But sometimes people think that we put Krishna greater than everyone else, which is the fact. Like we are just portraying the fact as it is, what is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna himself says that I am the seed-giving father for all. And in this chapter, we'll discuss more on that aspect also. Okay, so these are the two important factors. Now, further down, if you see in this chapter 9, Lord Krishna will talk about that everything in this world is nothing but one of his energies. So Lord Krishna has three energies, and everything in this material world, in spiritual world, is one of his energies. So what are those three energies? One is spiritual energy, one is material energy, and one is marginal energy. In Sanskrit, it's called Tathastha
Shakti.
Yes, marginal energy is called Tathastha Shakti. And what are the other two?
The other two is spiritual energy is called like Para and Apara, Para Shakti and Apara Shakti.
Right.
Para is material and Apara Shakti is spiritual.
Right. Also, it's called Antaranga Shakti. Antaranga is spiritual,
Antaranga
and
is Bahiranga, yes.
Bahiranga Shakti. So those are the three technical terms, but don't worry about technical terms. You only need to know that there are three energies. One is spiritual, material, and one is marginal. Okay. Spiritual energy is something which is in the spiritual world. We do not see that spiritual energy here, but in spiritual world, everything is spiritual, completely 100% spiritual, nothing material. Okay. For example, only thing which we can see here spiritual or experiences are soul, or we are spiritual because we are spirit soul. However, when we are in contact with the material nature and we have got this body which is made up of material elements and also subtle body, so we are neither fully spiritual, we are neither fully material, right? We cannot say that we are fully spiritual now because we had material, we are impacted by material nature. Also, we had material body, and we are also not fully material because we had that soul. So it's a special category itself, which Jeev Tattva or the living entities fall, which is called marginal energy. Okay. Marginal energy means neither fully spiritual, neither fully material, somewhere in between. So the Jeev Tattva or the marginal energy, when they remain in contact with material nature, they are more attracted towards material nature. But we can become fully spiritual when we go to the spiritual world. So that is why we are marginal. And Srila Prabhupada gives very nice example. All of us can relate that when you go to a beach and when you stand right at the shore of the beach, right, where the water waves comes and goes, what you have all noticed, right? So the sand which is there on that shore, sometimes it goes in the water, sometimes it comes out of the water, right there. That is our situation. We are at the marginal. Sometimes we get attracted to spiritual thing, and sometimes we get attracted to material things. But we are neither fully spiritual nor fully material. Okay, so that is the marginal energy, in Sanskrit called Tathashta Shakti. Okay, this is all the jivas, like birds, animals, anything in this world which has soul is and covered with material body is Jeev Tattva, falls under Jeev Tattva. And in fact, all the Devi Devtas, 33 crore Devi Devtas, they are also part of Jeev Tattva. Okay. So, and then other thing is material energy, which is material energy means like, which is controlled by material nature and also which doesn't have soul. So for example, this table, completely material, right? This laptop, material, any object which you see which doesn't have soul in it, it's material. So that is completely material. So everything in this whole creation is just a manifestation of one of these three energies, and that's why everything is in one sense Krishna and in another sense not Krishna also. So this is the what you call the philosophy which was propounded by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's called Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva. It is simultaneously one with Krishna and different from Krishna simultaneously. So everything is how it is one with Krishna, because everything is Krishna's energy, but at the same time everything is different from Krishna because it's not Krishna. So we are also like in quality wise, we had acquired the qualities from Lord Krishna because we are his part and parcel, right? But quantity wise, those qualities are in very minute. So we can say qualitatively wise, we are same as Krishna, but quantity wise, we are not. So I see, Ankita, you have raised your hand. Something to
Yes,
say?
Prabhuji. In the connection of this chapter, when you started with the first verse, you said faith is very important.
Yes.
And for the beginning of bhakti, that's true. It starts with Adav Shraddha.
Hmm.
But recently, I was hearing one of Amrendra Prabhuji's lectures, and he was mentioning that in the scriptures there is somewhere a verse which mentions that after serving Krishna for like trying to serve Krishna for hundreds of lifetimes, then mercifully Srimad Bhagavatam enters our life. And you were also talking about Sukriti last time, which is like there are
Bhakti.
two types, Sukriti and Dushkriti. So, but Sukriti, like pious activities, you were also mentioning like last time. But there is something called as Agyata Sukriti as well. So,
Yes.
how do we know that, like pious activities and sinful activities we may consciously perform? But then there's something called as Agyata Sukriti also, which you don't know that you're performing.
Yes.
And suddenly you come to bhakti.
Correct.
So somehow in your human life. So how do we know whether a person has had agyat sukriti in the past or not? Like, is there some definition or some example in the scriptures speaking
For
about
Agyat
agyat
Sukriti?
sukriti? Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. There are definitions. So Agyat Sukriti, I can tell. Agyat means unknowingly. Sukriti means the Sukriti or the piety for practicing devotional service. So actually, there are three kind of Sukritis. Okay, one
Yes.
is Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti. Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti. What it means? Sukriti which takes one to the Bhakti or devotional service. Okay, that's first. Then is Bhukti Unmukhi Sukriti. Bhukti means material enjoyment.
Yes, yes.
Example of bhukti, bhukti unmukhi is that one gets the sukriti by doing a lot of punya, and he can become very rich person, very famous person, like a very powerful person in material terms, right? That is bhukti unmukhi. He will enjoy a lot of material things, and someone may even take the post of one of the demigods, like become a Surya Dev or Indra Dev, and be a very powerful controller. That's then third is called bhakti unmukhi, bhukti unmukhi, and then mukti unmukhi. Mukti means liberation. So you see, like a lot of people wants to get liberated, and with that word liberation, it means they want to get merged with
With the
absolute. That is,
with the
and then
absolute.
they remain, yeah. So that is another. These kind of people you will find, they will be sitting in Varanasi or Haridwar, and they will be basically not meeting with people. They are just by themselves, and they're trying. So there is, so now Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti is what we are all concerned, because that's what takes us to Bhakti. Now this Sukriti, initially nobody will have this Sukriti, right? How will get? So that is called Agyat Sukriti. Like it flows from devotee to another devotee. But how the Agyat Sukriti works? For example, we offer bhoga to Lord Krishna and make prasad. Now, if you give that prasad to someone, he gets that Agyat Sukriti. Because just by honoring prasad, he gets Agyat Sukriti. Another example, we go on streets and sometimes do Harinam. Now there are a lot of people who are appreciating and waving from their car. He could be anyone, but just by that gesture of waving to devotees and appreciating what they are doing, they are getting Agyat Sukriti. Another example, we take Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra. So obviously devotees come and pull the chariot of Jagannath, but there would be so many unknown people who don't even know who is Lord Jagannath. They will be going there, and just they are seeing the deity of Lord Jagannath from the distance, and then trying to inquire. So this, just by having that darshan of Lord Jagannath once, they get Agyat Sukriti. Okay. Yes. Touching these books. So when we go out on book distribution, we give books. Sometimes people are hesitant, but we give them the book in their hands. Why? Because just by touching the books, they get that Agyat Sukriti.
But then, Prabhuji, I got the example. Sorry to cut you. I was trying to connect this thing with the kind of, So, Amrendra Prabhuji was saying that after like consciously trying to serve Krishna for hundreds of lifetimes, Bhagavatam enters our life. So, this thing, like both are positives, but both seem contrasting to each other. And how do we know that, we have had some like intuitive connection with Krishna in the past? Because I do feel that I had some connection with Krishna in the past, and that's how I came
the connection would be like, there could be very high chance, or I would say 99%, whoever has taken, Prabhupada also says, whoever is coming to ISKCON in this life has been practicing bhakti in previous lives also. Bhakti is very rare that one can finish in one lifetime. So it's a progress. Like, so Lord Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that in this path of devotional service, there is no loss. Whatever we can do in one life, we are always given a chance to resume from where we left off in previous life. So definitely the many devotees, I have seen even many devotees who are part or doing bhakti have been doing this for maybe last life, or maybe 2 lifetimes, 3 lifetimes in the past also. That's true. And we have practically seen certain devotees in our yatra who are not taught how to, like, I know one devotee that who is not taught how to play mridanga, but from very childhood he knows how to play mridanga without even anyone telling him how to play, and he plays very nicely. So how it's possible? because there is a last life's impression or last life's impression where he would be most likely a devotee in the last life and knew how to play mridanga. In this life he's just resuming his bhakti. That
I took up this topic, Prabhuji, because you were saying that, so many people criticize ISKCON that we are
yes,
only propagating Krishna as the supreme and not
yes,
others. And to summarize in one line, my devotional journey, taking the consideration of time, I didn't come to ISKCON and Krishna came in my life. Krishna came in my life, and to know more about him, I searched for some organization who knows in detail about him, and then I found out there is something called as ISKCON that exists. So,
yes,
nobody can tell, at least for me, nobody can kind of put an allegation on me that, अरे तुम तो हरे कृष्णा में जाके हरे कृष्णा हो गई. So these kind of things are being told to me for
right,
like from India only. So that's why, So
right,
that's
right,
why
right.
I feel कि कुछ तो है. And I was trying
Yes,
to connect with yesterday only. You can find that lecture on YouTube as well. Amarendra Prabhuji is currently in India, and he took one of the lectures in Vrindavan. So yes, I was hearing that yesterday, and this kind of struck me out.
yeah, okay,
Thank you so much.
nice. Yeah, so yeah, I was talking about the energy. So why I was talking, because in next section Krishna talks about that by me in my unmanifested form this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but now I am not in them. What it means is everything is in him. We are being part and parcel, and one of his energies belongs to him. That's why all beings are in, but I am not in them. And then he further says that, and yet everything that is created does not rest in me. And this, he said, this is my mystic opulence. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this massive cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. Very clearly says that Lord Krishna is a source of this creation, but he's not part of this manifestation. He does not take part. It's just this whole manifestation is working or running just as one of his wonderfully, perfectly fine, because it's one of his energies. Like every day we see sun comes on time, sets on time, all the planets are revolving in their orbits perfectly, not moving here and there. Gravitational force is there. How is this all happening? So there must be someone who is controlling. So this is all being controlled by Lord Krishna, because all of this is Lord Krishna's energy. Okay, nature is one of his energies, right? Mother Nature, and everything is just going perfectly fine. And then further he says, understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere, rest always in sky, all created beings rest in me. And so like that he explains his relation with this cosmic manifestation, where he says that he has nothing to do with this cosmic manifestation, but at the same time everything is one of his manifestations. Then he further talks about that at the end of millennium all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium I create them again. So here he's talking about that the process of creation and annihilation, that all these material universes or material worlds uh, goes inside Mahavishnu, who is lying on the ocean of causal, Karanodakshai Vishnu, Mahavishnu. And then it again, next millennium, again everything starts all over and all the creation starts. So this annihilation and creation goes for perpetually, eternally. Okay, so all these things are there in this. So now we'll talk about further things. Yeah, here he talks about further in down the line 17, that he says, I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, the syllable Om. So when we chant any mantra in the Vedic mantras, which starts with Om, the word Om actually is none other than Lord Krishna only. I am also the Rig Ved, Samved, Yajurved. Okay. All the sacrifices which we do, anything which we do, the beneficiary or the beneficiary is Lord Krishna only. And he further says, I am the goal, sustainer, master, witness, abode, refuge, and most dear friend. I am the creation and annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and eternal seed. So he's talking about that everything is coming from him, that, oh Arjun, I give the heat and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality and I am also the death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me. And then he talks about this wonderful verse, Yoga Shemam Vahami Aham. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate Taisham Nitya Bhiyuktanam Yoga Shemam Vahami Aham. So he says that those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Okay, so he's talking about the exclusive devotion, which is what Krishna's devotee does, exclusively devoted to the devotional service of Lord Krishna, worshipping him, meditating on his transcendental form, that two-handed form which we see in all the temples. He says that for those devotees who are fully sold out to Lord Krishna, fully devoted, I carry what they lack. He provides what they lack and I preserve what they have, and he preserve whatever they have. So he's basically again assuring Arjuna, and actually he's giving this message to all of us who are practitioners of this devotion service, that do not worry on this path. Like sometimes people worry, okay, what will happen to me, and what will happen to my family and all that. So he says, like Prabhupada says, Lord helps the devotee to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga, and when he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to a miserable conditional life. And then he further talks about the worshippers of demigods or Devi Devtas. So he says that those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, but they do so in a wrong way. Okay, that's why we do not want to worship anyone else, because Lord Krishna is here exclusively asking us to worship him only. And he says that even if you worship any other devta, indirectly you are worshipping Lord Krishna only. But this is avidhi purvakam, meaning this is a wrong way of doing. See here, ye api anya devta bhakta yajante shraddhayanvita te api mam eva kaunteya yajanti avidhi purvakam. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith. Anyway, Krishna says, and that faith to worship other demigods also comes from me. But then he says that, but they do so in a wrong way. Why it is wrong way? Because normally the devotees of other Devi Devtas, they are after some material things. Okay, that sometimes people say, okay, I am having this problem, and if I do this, they go to the Pandit say, okay, you come, you do this, wear this stone, and do this puja for next 7 weeks on this particular day, and your problem will be solved, right? And then you worship certain this god, and your problem will be solved. So they are not actually looking after, or not really interested in. And after those 7 weeks are done, and if let's say their problem solved, then they give up whatever they were doing, right? This is, Prabhupada says, this is a business, like, and this is purely a business, like, okay, I do this things, and my problem is solved, and I stop doing it. So there is no emotion or the love involved here. Simply it's a material transaction kind of thing, and I benefit from this. And that's why Lord Krishna says this is avidhi purvakam. Even we have some problems, or we want certain material wealth or whatever we want, we can directly approach to Lord Krishna. Because if you recall in chapter 7, we saw that there are four kinds of people who initially approach Lord Krishna: those who are desire of wealth, those who are in distress, those who are inquisitive, and those who are seeker of knowledge. All four are magnanimous, pious souls. So Lord Krishna says not to worry, but here he clearly says that for devotees this is avidhi purvakam, and even if someone worships other gods, they are actually worshipping him only, but in a wrong way. Now I see a hand raised. Yes. Who is that? Deepti ji, you have something to say or ask?
Yes, ask basically, Prabhuji.
Yes.
So Navratri starts today, and
Mhm.
I understand that everything is because of the blessings of Krishna.
Yes.
So what I'm hearing from you, and please correct me, is that we don't have to do Navratri puja just because we are praying to Krishna. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, true. When we chant the names of Hari, everything is included. So see, whom we are trying to please by doing Navratri Puja is the Durga Devi, right? Or
Right.
and I gave you the example. Durga Devi is who? She is a devotee of Lord Krishna. So when we worship Lord Krishna, who is also the Aradhya of Durga Devi, won't she become happy? So there is no need to separately do anything other than just uh, worshipping Lord Krishna and taking his name. Everyone else in whole creation becomes satisfied automatically and become happy. Take any Devi Devta, they are all devotees of the Lord. They become more happy when we worship their Aradhya, and they become much more happy when they see that my devotee, let's say there is a devotee of Lord Shiva. When Lord Shiva sees that my devotee is now worshipping my Lord, which is Lord Ram or Lord Krishna, he becomes much more happier. And this is the topmost bhakti. And Hemanji asked, yes, traditionally I know all the, how we are Ganesh worship, how does this work? Yes. So Ganesh ji is again a great devotee of the Lord. Ganesh ji is the one who is the scribe. Like all the scriptures were wrote by Lord Ganesh. Like Vyasadev was reciting this when Kali Yuga was about to start. Lord Vyasadev knew that the people in Kali Yuga will have short memories. So he wants to put all the scriptures to a writing. Before that, these scriptures were in a form of Shruti, because people in earlier ages have very, you can say, photogenic memory. They will hear once and remember throughout their life. So this knowledge was imparted through oral reception. There was no written. But he knew that when Kali Yuga will happen, people can't remember. So then he wrote all this literature, all the four Vedas, 108 Upanishads, all Puranas, and at the end he wrote Srimad Bhagavad Puran. So he asked Lord Brahma that I need a perfect scribe, like who can write and not be basically become tired or something. So Lord Ganesha took this service of putting down everything. Whatever we read today, like Srimad Bhagavatam, even this one, all the scriptures are written by Lord Ganesha, and Lord Vyasadeva was just reciting. He was saying one verse after another, and Lord Ganesha was writing. So the fact that Lord Ganesha agrees to write, and he also basically approves whatever is there in the scriptures. So Lord Ganesha is a great devotee of the Lord Krishna only, right? So again, even for Ganesh Bhakta, we can worship because this is our tradition. Let's say if there is a tradition in our families to worship Ganesha, we can worship Ganesha, no problem. But worship Ganesha not asking for any material boons, right? Like in our normal prayers, we ask for the Hindu prayers that Sukh Sampatti Ghar Aave. Like what we are asking? You're asking Sukh Sampatti Ghar Aave, Kasht Mite Tanka. Om Jai Jagdish Hare, right? That's a prayer. We are asking something which is very, very, you can say, cheap things we are asking. What we will do with Sukh Sampatti and Kasht Mite Tanka, that will be taken care already by Lord. What we have to ask Lord is, which is the devotional service towards him, the prema bhakti towards him. So same thing, like if we have to worship we are worshipping Lord Ganesha, we can worship Lord Ganesha, but ask about Krishna Bhakti. Please make me better devotee of the Lord. Give me something which you think is the best for me. And then Lord, let him decide. So like that we have to do. But there is no separate endeavor required to worship anyone other than Lord Krishna. Because as Krishna says, if we worship anyone, actually we are worshipping Krishna only, but in an indirect path. And because Krishna is bestowing all this, what you call, all his strength to all these Devi Devtas, their strength or the power is coming from Lord Krishna only anyway. Okay. Any other questions on this one?
So Prabhuji, a follow-up question is that in our altar
I
we
did
had.
not hear someone saying something.
Yes, Prabhuji, it's Dipti. Can
No,
you
it's
hear me?
breaking up, Dipti ji. Can you just say it again?
Can you hear me now? It's a little better.
Can anyone else hear?
We can hear Prabhu Mataji's voice. Can you hear
Yes,
it, Prabhu?
Prabhuji, we can hear her. We can hear.
Venkat Prabhu, can you hear? I could not hear anything.
Yeah, we can hear her, Prabhu, Mataji's voice. Can you hear us? Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can you hear us?
Is it problem with my connection or what? Like I'm not able to hear anyone. Can anyone say something?
Yeah, Prabhu, we are talking. Yeah, I think your connection might be broken.
Second, let me see.
We can hear your voice, Prabhu. Maybe looks like you can't hear us. No, not yet.
I think he's trying to join back. Yeah.
Yes, nothing.
I think Prabhuji left and he is reconnecting.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes,
He-
yes, Mataji.
Different. Hmm. Should
Hello,
we
Hare
help
Krishna.
him to? Yeah.
Can
Yeah,
you hear
Hare
me
Krishna.
now?
Yeah,
Yes,
we can
Prabhu.
hear you.
Yeah, looks like there was a problem at my end, only some connection. So I logged in with my mobile phone, like of my data. I think internet either unstable or something.
We can hear you very well, Prabhuji. You can continue.
Oh, you were able to hear? Okay, but I was not able to hear, I think, and then it got disconnected.
I
Or
think
something.
Deepti Mataji wanted to speak to you about something.
Yes, Mataji, go ahead now. You can talk.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for joining back. Yes, we thought we lost you.
Yeah. Okay.
So Prabhuji, and pardon me for my ignorance here, but was wondering that in our altar we keep Krishna, and one of the 10 offenses I was reading, I read every day in the morning, like when I'm doing japa, and it says that you cannot keep all the other gods with Krishna, which includes, Shiv and Ganeshji. So we
So,
don't keep them in the same altar,
no,
or
So no, it doesn't mean you can see because you have been doing that. Like the offense is that to think that other demigods like Shiva or Ganesha or anyone is equal to or independent of him or greater than him. That is the offense. Like if we think that is offense towards the holy name. If we think that the demigods are superior than Lord Krishna or independent of him, that is what it is. However, because all these demigods are his devotees, right? There is no harm as long as your consciousness is clear that when you're worshipping Lord Krishna, that yes, he's the one who is the source of everything, and all other demigods are basically part and parcel of him. As I was saying, they also fall under the Jeev Tattvas, like Tathastha Shakti. It's just that they are superior than us and they have occupied certain posts. For example, Suryadev, Indradev, these are all posts, Ganesh. And but yeah, if you have been uh, having those on your altar, there's no harm as long as you know the correct understanding of the tattva here, that demigods are nothing but jeev tattvas and they are also the devotees of the Lord. So I hope
thank you, Prabhu.
this and clarifies, right? But my point was like to other that there is, because it has been practiced in certain families. For example, I know in Maharashtra, Lord Ganpati is being worshipped, right? In some other part, West Bengal, if you go, Kali Ma, Durga Devi is worshipped. If you go to South, I see different like some people worship Balaji or Kartike also, so many. So that is some family cultural thing. So as long as we understand the Siddhant and the philosophy, that everything is part and parcel of Lord Krishna only, and he's the source of everything. And then we understand this in the right perspective. But there is no obligation for one to keep demigods on the altar. But if you are already doing that, there is no harm also as long as you have this right understanding.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, like we have, and it could be that not from the day one everyone becomes Krishna Bhakta, right? Because this is the topmost bhakti. So definitely in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's mentioned those who are practicing the devotional service of Lord Krishna, Krishna Bhakti, it's given that they have practiced all other paths already in their previous lives. All other paths, there are so many paths, right? Krishna talks about Ashtang Yoga and Dhyan Yoga and all other paths of yoga, and also they have practiced all other paths already. Those who are chanting Hare Krishna mantra, all other things is already covered when we do the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. We do not have to separately do any special puja or ritual or anything, because this is covered. And there's a very nice pastime, right? If you know, in Mahabharata, when this Durvasa Muni was visiting Pandavas, because this Duryodhana asked Durvasa Muni that you go with your 10,000 disciples and visit my brother Yudhishthir. And he very well knew that Yudhishthir, by the time Durvasa Muni will reach, they would have taken their afternoon prasadam and there would be nothing. And then Durvasa Muni will become very angry, and he was famous for giving curse, and he will definitely curse them. And Pandavas have this Akshay Patra, which was given to them, and which can produce unlimited amount of food. But the condition was when Draupadi would have taken her prasad, after that it won't produce. So it so happened that Durvasa Muni started going to with his 10,000 disciples to Pandavas for taking afternoon prasad after he visited Duryodhan, because Duryodhan has this ill thought to get Pandavas cursed. Now they knew that Durvasa Muni coming, and then Durvasa Muni went for taking the clean himself, like bath in the river. So that time they knew that they don't, Akshay Patra cannot produce any more prasad because Draupadi has taken. And in that they, I think, prayed to Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna suddenly appeared on the scene, and he asked Draupadi that, give me something, I am very hungry. Draupadi said, nothing is left, everything is eaten, I have also eaten, I cannot make. And then he looked at that vessel which has the rice, and he take only one grain of that rice, puts it in his mouth, and he says, I am satisfied. And then all those Durvasa Muni, along with his all 10,000 disciples, became also satisfied, and they did not feel hungry, and they just left. They thought that now, if in that condition, if they cannot eat, then it would be insult to Yudhishthir Maharaj, and then they left. So the point I'm saying, that just by taking that one grain, Krishna becomes satisfied, and all of them also become satisfied. So same is our principle. If we water the root, which is Lord Krishna, if he is satisfied, everything else is satisfied. All the demigods, everyone else, all our forefathers, mother, father, everyone is satisfied. So we don't separately have to endeavor to worship each and every Devi Devta. Everything is taken care when we worship Lord Krishna. Okay, so let me just move forward. So this is one of the important things which Krishna talks about in this chapter 9 about this thing. And later he will talk about exclusively last 9 verses from verse 26 to 34, 8 verses on bhakti. Like those are the cream of the bhakti yoga, like where he talks about that, but that was it's just loading in my screen. I think it's still slow. He talks about that verse where he speaks about that patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhakta prayachati, that if you offer me with love and devotion a flower, a fruit, water, then I accept it. So that verse shows that what Krishna actually is looking for is just the love and devotion, because flower, fruit, water anyway belong to Lord Krishna. Actually, we cannot, when we offer anything to Lord Krishna, the ingredients of that offering anyway belong to Lord Krishna. Isn't that the case? We cannot produce wheat, we cannot produce fruits. These are all produced by Lord Krishna himself. So what actually we are offering? Only thing which belongs to us is our love and devotion, our bhav. And that's why it says Lord Krishna is bhav grahi Janardhan. He only relishes that bhav. So everything else belongs to him. So this love and devotion is very, very important in the practice of bhakti yoga. Even if you don't have anything to offer, a poor person can also practice bhakti. He can offer in his mind, because that bhav, to develop that love and bhav, you don't need to have material opulence. Whatever you have, just offer to the best of your ability, because everything anyway belongs to Lord Krishna only. Okay, so this verse is I think 926 Patram Pushpam verse, and very, very famous verse. And in this verse also Krishna clarifies that he only accepts fruit, water, milk, and he does not say that offer me any non-vegetarian food. Sometimes people say, why not non-vegetarian? It's allowed for us, like other sects say, but it's not like. Clearly Krishna talks about patram pushpam phalam toyam. So nothing, he doesn't say offer me meat or offer me this, that, no. So that sometimes people think that we are vegetarian. No, we are not even vegetarian. What we are prasaditarian. We only offer what Krishna asked and we take prasad. Prabhupada says we are not vegetarian. We are not the propaganda. Vegetarian is good, but the best is to prasad. Like if one can take prasad, that is the best. Okay. One second, let me just open it for me. Okay, let me get my copy of Bhagavad Gita, just 1 second. Somehow the internet is not working for me, so I'll just refer to the copy. Okay, also Krishna talks about. Pardon?
You want me to share, Prabhu, like the screen? Or?
No, it's okay. Also Krishna talks about the destination of someone. Sometimes there is again a misconception in our Hinduism because of so many devtas that people think that you worship anything and everything, the destination is going to be same. Like either you worship any devta or you worship, sometimes you don't know, like many people even worship ghosts, spirits, bhoot paret. Some worship pitra, like the forefathers, but destination is not same. Krishna says in this verse 25 that those who worship the demigods, they take birth amongst the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors or pitra, they go to the planet of ancestors, pitra lok. Those who worship ghosts and spirits, they take birth amongst those such beings like ghost and spirit. And those who worship me will live with me. So he's very clear, destination is not same. Whatever you worship and whatever you put, that's where you eventually go. Okay, so not all the paths go to the same destination. Okay, so very clearly he explains in this chapter. And sometimes I've seen, like in India, like people are so, you can say, innocent and gullible that they start worshipping anyone who is not even authorized, who is not even Devi Devta also. Once I was hearing that in South there's a temple where people, I think, go there and then they worship something to just get the visa for US. Like this visa for US is in demand, and there similarly I have heard that there are temples in India where they worship the famous personalities like this cricketer Sachin Tendulkar or Amitabh Bachchan. Like, so this worship is not authorized in any scriptures, but people are just doing out of their own imagination. So that is again not bona fide or not approved by Lord Krishna. Then further Krishna talks about this again, verse number 27. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do as an offering to me. So basically his instruction is that mold your life in such a way that whatever you do in life, whatever you offer, whatever you eat, whatever you give in charity, do as an offering to me. Give it as an offering to me. So all our endeavors, all our tasks, everything should be molded in a way that we always have chance to always remember Krishna and never forget him in any circumstance. Okay, so that's why he's saying, do it for me, as a give it to me, offer that to me. And then why he's saying, he says that in this way you will be freed from the bondage of to work and inauspicious result. Like you will be freed from the cycle of birth and death, because you will not get entangled in this cycle of karma and vikarma. Like, because as I explained, like I think in chapter 4, when Krishna explains about karma, vikarma, akarma, anything which we do with the consciousness of pleasing Lord Krishna becomes a karma. So we do not get any pious credits or impious credits, material credits. What we get is spiritual credits or devotion service, which does not make one to again come back to this material world to enjoy or suffer the results, right? So this is the only way where one can be freed from the bondage of work. And then further, Lord Krishna talks about that I envy no one, nor I am partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whosoever renders service to me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I'm also a friend to him. So again, Krishna being our eternal father is equal to all, but he has a special, what you call, special feelings or special care or special love for his devotees. Krishna says that I am always in the heart of my pure devotees, and they are always in my heart. So he reciprocates. He reciprocates to the extent we reciprocate. That is Lord Krishna. Even if we do little service for Lord Krishna, he remembers that eternally. A small service as small as even cleaning the floor of a temple of Lord Krishna and bowing down in front of Lord Krishna, that is also he considers a great service, and he eternally becomes obliged to reciprocate. Okay, so we stop here and then cover rest of the things, rest of the important concepts of this chapter in next class. There are very, very important concepts. I think in today's class, let me summarize. We discussed about the criteria for one to practice or understand this knowledge, most confidential knowledge, which is to have non-enviousness and faith for Lord Krishna. Then we spoke about how everything in this whole manifestation, either material or spiritual, everything is a manifestation of one of Lord Krishna's energy. And that is how Krishna says that everything is me. But at the same time, he is not there in everything. That is Krishna's inconceivable energy and inconceivable potency. Then we spoke about how Lord Krishna says that anyone who worships demigods, any demigod, is indirectly worshipping Lord Krishna only. However, this is avidhi purvakam. This is not the right way, because the right way is you can directly approach Lord Krishna. And then he talks about the verse Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, like offer me with love and devotion, fruit, flower, water, and he accepts that. Okay, and then we talk about how one should offer everything in the service of Krishna. So basically, the whole idea is to be always remembering Lord Krishna and his pastimes, and mold our life in such a way that we also have opportunity to do that. Not mold our life in a way that our life is too busy, like we get so much entangled in our day-to-day things and have no time for Lord. Then Lord Krishna says, okay, if you want to lead that life, then he will say that yes, okay, you can do that, because Maya Devi, which is again energy of Lord, is so strong that it can immediately attract you towards the material affairs, and then one can completely forget Lord Krishna. So that's why hearing about Lord Krishna, his pastimes, is so important. And that's why I was in the beginning focusing on that. When we read about Lord Krishna's pastimes, our mind gets automatically attracted, because these pastimes are not ordinary pastimes. These are Krishna's pastimes. No difference between Lord Krishna, his name, form, and pastimes, right? So when we chant, we are chanting Krishna name. That also has same effect on our consciousness. And when we read about his pastimes and remember, same effect on our consciousness. In fact, our remembrance will starts increasing when we remember the pastimes. And only thing which we can remember is when we know about those pastimes and read about that. I see again a hand raised from Aparna ji. Yes.
Like I have a question.
Yes.
We had to get the grace of Radharani to reach Krishna. Like how to get the grace of Radharani. Like when we worship, we think of Lord Krishna himself.
And Radharani together.
Radharani together. Okay.
Together. So we worship them together.
Okay.
Not exclusively Krishna, not exclusively Radharani, together. Worship Lord Krishna and Radharani together.
Okay. Thank you.
That is our worship. Even the Hare Krishna mantra has both of them together. So you will never find a temple where you only see Krishna or Radharani, because our sampradaya is to worship them together. Now, another question: how to get the what do you call the blessings of Srimati Radharani? So that is, Radharani is much more merciful than Lord Krishna. So if Radharani says, yes, look at this devotee, he genuinely feels, it's not artificially saying that he's doing better, please accept him. Definitely Krishna will accept. But to get the mercy of Radharani, we have to get first the mercy of Vaishnavas and also the mercy of Guru. So everything goes through a medium of Guru, spiritual master. Because spiritual master is a personification of that mercy on the material world. Like that everything in spiritual world, as I say, is spiritual, right? And that means everything has a personification. So Radharani is a personification of Hladini Shakti of Lord Krishna, which means the pleasure-giving potency. So she's personification. Personification means like she's a person representing that energy of Lord Krishna. That is the pleasure-giving potency. Now the personification of mercy is Guru Tattva or Guru. So we have to please the Guru and go through the medium of Guru in order to please Radharani or Krishna or together or anyone. That's why it's very, very important when we advance our spiritual life to have the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master Guru. Because once it says that once Guru is satisfied, pleased with the devotee, it's confirmed that Lord Krishna is also pleased. So our services, our service to Radharani and Krishna goes via the medium of Guru Parampara, because we are so unfortunate and fallen, we cannot directly approach. Okay, so that is another point which was, I think I mentioned when we covered about the importance of having a Guru. Like there is a class which I spoke on. So there we discuss about this. Parnaji, is it okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else has any questions or anything to say? Okay, if not, then thank you so much for again giving your precious time on Sunday. And then we'll see again next Sunday, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So have a nice weekend and a nice Krishna conscious week. Thank you so much again for joining. So we finish our class now. Hare Krishna.